Hello and welcome back to Transformer Review Offs. I finally got all the necessary pieces parts, so it's time to look at spies. G1 Punch Counterpunch, as well as G1 Doubledealer. The Transformer spies were always awesome. They're a gimmick I loved. Punch and Counterpunch is the first one, of course, which is why he's going first. Their whole gimmick is that they change factions. So they've got two robot modes for one alt mode, as opposed to Triple Changer, which has two alt modes for one robot. So here's Punch. He's a big, blocky brick of a dude. He's got massive shoulders, massive chest. He's got a very nice color-coordinated weapon. His hands are strangely red, which I've never really understood. We'll see that's kind of a detriment later on. There's really not a whole lot else to say. I do love the line of the top of his chest here, because this part right here sort of curves down into the shoulder, and it makes a very nice arc, and I'm kind of surprised by that. He's pretty solid, you know. He looks like a G1 fig. Doubledealer came much later. He's a Power Master. He is, in fact, the only double Power Master. Power Masters, I love Power Masters. He is really big. He's probably Voyager, if not Leader class nowadays. He has a ton of accessories, not including the two engines. These two parts of the what forms a missile eventually, as well as this chest piece, which is used to hold engines in alt mode or other modes, which is really cool. He's pretty sweet, honestly, all things considered. He's got a hell of a color scheme, but it's mostly teal, and I love that color. If there's anything weird about him, it's when you flip him over and see that you have to take his other engine and stick it to his butt. I mentioned that this thing is for holding engines in his other mode and in his alt mode, but in robot mode, it's his chest, so yeah, butt storage. First robot mode, and this is Autobot mode, I should mention. Autobot mode goes to Doubledealer. So, transformation between robots. Punch is really easy. You take and smash his arms up. This is the most you really have to do to him. You flip the shoulders up and turn them a little. Pull out Decepticon arms, and then you flip his helmet back, and bam, you've got Counterpunch. Of course, I already had him set up. I mean, technically you need to open up his chest and flip out the symbol, flip down his feet, but I already had that set up because having his feet down makes him nice and stable. Doubledealer is a lot more involved because you pretty much have to put him into his alt mode in order to switch between his robot modes. And of course the big gimmick is you have to pop the engine out and switch to the other one. Listen to that ratchet though. That's one of the reasons I love this guy, is he is ratchety as hell, and his joints are really, really stable. So then you flip him over, and suddenly, you're flipping things around, and oh my god, it's completely different, and it's completely unexpected, and it's got wings. Holy shit, and it's a bird. A little bit of accessory magic, and you're good to go. Interesting thing to note, in the Japanese cartoon called Super God Master Force, which featured Pretenders, Junior Headmasters, Power Masters, and the Seacons. Doubledealer was known as Clouder, and specifically the robot was Clouder, and the Decepticon was Double Clouder. I don't know why. So Punch gets a point for having a very easy transformation. Alright, so Decepticons. Counterpunch. He's very, very blue. And unfortunately, this means that the Autobot arms, which you can see here, the yellow of the arm and the red of the hand, really, really stick out. He's kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. He's a little bit tubby as well. I mean, look at this. He's got a bit of a punch. I'm one to talk, but you know, I don't really like Counterpunch. I like displaying his punch a lot better. The weird thing is his arms, which swivel this way at the elbow. That's just, it's bizarre, and it doesn't serve a lot of purpose. You know, you have to tilt his shoulder in order to make him aim forward or anything like that. And it's just not very satisfying. Whoa! Doubledealer, or Double Clouder on the other hand, is a robotic vulture, which, how often do you see that? The mouth opens and closes, which is very nice. Take the missile and stick it up on his back. I've seen other poses where you take the front of the missile and stick it under here, but that really doesn't look quite as good, I don't think. He's got the engine on the back there. Despite the fact that he's obviously, you know, wearing some kind of vehicle upside down, I think this looks really cool. He's not overly posable because all he's got is his legs, and they go down to about there, and I don't think you can do anything else with them. But he doesn't look too bad, and he's a Vulture, and that's very cool. So I'm giving that point to Doubledealer. 2-1 at the moment, going for maximum of 5. Transformation into alt mode. Punch, counterpunch, it's pretty much the same thing. You just take and fold up the arms, tuck the head inside. I love this part. You take and open up his chest, and you flip the windshield around, and you stick his head in there. That's nice and snappity. The arms form the front of the car, and then the legs are a little bit more involved. His hips actually move up and down. You have to take and push his feet together. You swing it around and it slides back and forth. But eventually, it all comes together, and it's not too bad a transformation. Doubledealer, on the other hand, the thing about Power Masters is they're almost insulting, because the whole gimmick is you have a little dude, and I'll take a look at them a little bit closer later. You have a little dude that, like Headmasters or Target Masters, is part of the finished robot, but instead of being a weapon or being the head and actually finishing off the robot form, the Power Master engine, if not inserted, prevents you from transforming it. It locks a certain piece of the transformation. In Doubledealer's case, in both cases, it's his legs. If you don't have that engine inserted, you can't do the transformation, and that's kind of a pisser. That said, getting him into alt mode, no problem whatsoever. And like I said, the ratcheting makes it a lot of fun. He's not hard to transform in the least. I do still kind of like the Power Master gimmicks. So since I'm talking about that, here's his Autobot engine. His name is Knock. These all transform exactly the same. You just take and fold the legs up and peg them into the shoulders, which is very nice. The Decepticon engine, his name is Scar, and he's a little bat, which I love. That's really cool. But his transformation is even simpler. He just folds his wings in. The one thing about him is you need to have the wings folded a certain way if you want them to fit in the engine compartment or in the engine holder. And I'm slightly dyslexic, and I really don't know which way that is. I can't remember it all. So it basically just ends up, and I fold him up, try and stick him in, and if he doesn't fit, I fold him the other way. And I did it wrong. I think, interestingly enough, it's actually the opposite way that you fold the Vulture's wings. No, I had it right. Son of a bitch. So, alt modes. Punch, counterpunch turns this very lovely little blue car. He's got some obvious legs in the back, and I mean, I don't think any car ever had quite this. Well, I mean, the profile is fine, but then you turn this over here and you've got this big hole in the back, and these are obviously not windows or anything across here, so it's kind of okay. You can see the arms in the bottom if you flip him over, and his rub sign. Doubledealer turns into this big sexy missile truck, and this is awesome. Again, I love the colors. You have this enormous missile here that you can actually move up and down a little bit. So there's some play value in there. He rolls very nicely. Most of his robot bits are hidden away. You can kind of see his arms, or his hands there. You can see the wings underneath and the legs. This thing is really cool, and Doubledealer's going to get this one because he's, you know, that's the difference that a couple of years between releases makes. He's got all the gimmicks. So this has been a very spine-tingling, thrilling kind of review off today. Join me next time, and we'll take a look at knockoffs. Won't that be fun?